Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. I, 45 male, have a younger sister, 30 female. We are 15 years apart, and our parents were already older when they had her. They both passed away before she turned 20, so I've always had more of a guardian role in her life than a typical older brother. I've done well for myself. My wife and I are comfortable. Over the years, we've helped my sister a lot. I paid for her college, gave her a monthly stipend, and covered a few unexpected expenses here and there while she got on her feet. Now she's getting married. A few months ago, she asked for help covering wedding costs. My wife and I discussed it. She was against paying for the wedding at all. She felt we had already done more than enough. But I wanted to do this one last thing so I can finally conclude this chapter. Eventually, we agreed we would contribute $7,000, and we made that number very clear from the start. Their plan was a small, simple wedding, around 40 guests in a modest venue. 3 months before the wedding, she called me and said, "Hey, there's been a slight change in plans." I asked what she meant, and she said they had just found a venue that fit the vibe better. I asked if it was still within the same budget, and she just kind of brushed it off and said not to worry. Fast forward to last week. She still hadn't shared the new plans with me, so I got curious and did some digging. I found the venue she mentioned online. It's a luxury wedding venue. Absolutely nothing like the original plan. Much more upscale and definitely not within a $7,000 wedding budget. So I called her again and asked what was going on. That is when she admitted they had expanded the guest list to 100 people and that the small wedding didn't feel right anymore. She said she and her fiancé felt that the wedding didn't match their status and that she didn't want to look cheap in front of their friends. I asked who was covering the difference in cost, because my $7,000 wasn't going to stretch that far. She said she was hoping I would cover it, like it was just obvious I would need to step up. I told her no, that wasn't our agreement, and she made these changes without even talking to us. She lost it, called me a selfish moron, and I was being cheap for someone in my position. She even brought up how I paid for her college, saying, "So you will fund my future but not my wedding." I told her she and her fiancé are free to plan whatever wedding they want, but they need to fund it. I'm not getting manipulated into doubling my contribution just because she decided she wants something fancier. My wife, who originally didn't even want us paying for the wedding, is beyond fed up. She thinks I should pull out completely now and let them figure it out on their own. I'm honestly starting to agree. I haven't officially withdrawn the $7,000 offer yet, but I'm close. My sister is going nuts and spamming me with texts and phone calls. So am I the a-hole? Update. I'm still holding firm on the $7,000 limit. Surprisingly, my sister's fiancé came by to talk. He actually agrees with me, which was a bit shocking. He said he was fine with the smaller wedding and this whole upgrade is 100% my sister's doing. He is stressed about how they're going to pay for it, but says she won't budge. He even said he wishes I hadn't offered anything at all because now she's acting like it's a blank check. My wife thinks we should pull the offer entirely. I haven't yet, but I'm close. No word from my sister since the last fight. Last update. Wow, it's been a long time. So yes, the wedding did happen, but not the second one, the original one. Her fiancé, now husband, put his foot down. Told her it was either the original wedding or he walked. He was so done with the drama at that point and couldn't start a marriage under that kind of pressure. She fought him on it for a while, but he didn't back down. So the wedding went ahead at the original small venue with the original guest list and everything was fine. She didn't speak to me or my wife during the whole thing and held a grudge for a bit after. But lately she's mellowed out. Her husband and I keep in touch. And he told me last week that she's pregnant. So it sounds like she'll have something else to obsess over soon. glad it's behind us. I'm really happy with how things turned out, OP. It's a really good thing your sister got herself a reasonable husband. A wedding is not the time to splurge the money you don't have or force your family to cough up thousands of dollars just to satisfy your wish for an extravagant wedding that you don't need. Your sister handled the whole thing poorly, and I'm surprised you didn't immediately cut off contact with her after she started behaving like an ungrateful child. It's all over now, and I wish her a safe delivery and a happy marriage. Hopefully she learns from all of this somehow. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my son and daughter-in-law not to expect us to be babysitters for our grandkids? I'm 47 years old and my wife is 45. We had our sons young, 16 and 18. And I have to be honest, there were many years where my wife admitted to me that she wishes she had an abortion rather than going through with the pregnancy. Having kids was never her life's dream. And having our son kept us back in life and kept us from accomplishing a lot of things we wanted to accomplish. Now, don't get me wrong, we love our son fully. We did everything we could to provide a warm, loving home for him. I worked my ass off to help put him through college with little debt. His mom was the picture-perfect wife and mother, baking cookies with him, doing art projects, attending every single basketball game, every band concert, every play. We both did these things without ever complaining and really cherished many of those moments. Well, my son turned out to be a great young man. He graduated with a nice science degree, met a wonderful woman who he dated for 7 years before marrying. They have been married for 2 years and have decided to expand their family by having a child. She's pregnant, due in May. My wife and I have figured for a while that our job was done and that we could finally focus on our lives and our wants and needs. These include many things like certifications and classes, travel, hobbies. All of the things we had to put on hold while we focused on raising our son. Finally, it was our time. Well, when my son and daughter-in-law were over a few weeks ago, shit kind of hit the fan. They were talking about different things they were looking forward to, and my son made a joke saying, "And of course, I'm sure we'll look forward to dropping the kids off at Grandma and Grandpa's house every now and then." I laughed it off for a moment but said I wouldn't count on that. He got confused and asked what I meant, and I ended up having to tell him rather plainly that he shouldn't expect me and his mother to act as babysitters for his grandchildren. That we had raised one child and we were done and happy to focus on us, our lives, etc. My son was visibly upset by this and said, "But you are going to be grandparents. Shouldn't you want to spend time with your grandkids?" My wife spoke up and said that yes, we would be happy to spend time with them, but that we weren't going to be babysitters. We wouldn't be raising them. We would spend time with the family, not just the grandkids. We would not be free daycare or babysitting. We would not be taking them on trips, spoiling them, etc. She made a point to say, "I'm sorry if this isn't what you expected. We will of course be a part of their lives, but we aren't here to be taken advantage of. Your children aren't our responsibility. We don't have a choice if you have them or not. It's your life and your choice, but please don't expect us to sacrifice ours." Well, it all blew up. My son said he just assumed all parents were dying for the moment when they had grandkids, that there is something wrong with us. He can't believe he would be so cold to our not even born yet grandchild, etc., etc. So I have to ask, am I the a-hole here? ETA, just to be clear, there will be no time at which they are welcome to drop off the kids with us and leave, barring an emergency situation. You're the a-hole, OP. Your son is right to be disappointed and shocked. Any child would be if their parents implied that they won't be having a close relationship with their grandchildren. I understand that you and your wife really need your space, but telling your son you won't be raising his children and you won't be responsible for them is like telling him you want nothing to do with his kids. I won't be surprised if he actually takes you up on your words and keeps his kids from you. Having a kid comes with responsibilities that don't stop, even when they are adults and have their own kids. I really hope you and your wife understand that. Now for some comments. Just to clarify, you have no intentions of spending any time with your grandkid one-on-one at all? Because that's how it is coming across to me. I don't think your son is as upset about not having free babysitting as he is that his parents basically told him they intend to only have a shallow relationship at best with their grandchild, particularly if you were very involved as parents. I would also be flabbergasted and very, very hurt by that. Not only are you the a-hole, but you are kind of a piece of shit. Saying that your child held you back from experiencing life is maybe the worst thing a parent can say, other than I wish I would have had an abortion. I have 2 kids and both mine and my wife's families are hundreds of miles away. I can't tell you how valuable it would be to be able to count on the people that I trust most, my family, to take care of my children occasionally. I'm absolutely blown away that you think your lives would have been better without your son. That is basically what you said. Think about that for a second. Think about how devastated he would be. I know if I found out that's what my mom thought, I would be destroyed. You're the a-hole. You view parenting and family as a job, not something you are part of completely. You talk on and on about how hard it was to be a parent, and all the ways you were perfect and never ever did anything wrong, which I have to doubt completely, sorry. Family is not a job, it's work, hard work. But it is not a job. You act as if helping to babysit every now and again is going to prevent you from living your life. Then you are just selfish. How is babysitting once a month going to stop you from going on vacation or getting hobbies or living life? I don't care if I'm downvoted, you sound like the worst. Edit because of your edit. Yeah, you're the a-hole big time. Story 3. Would I be the a-hole if I don't get my daughter-in-law Taco Bell for her birthday as she requested and instead got a traditional cake for the treat? My daughter-in-law and I have a spotty relationship at best. I feel I work hard to get along. She accuses me of interfering with her kids and family. If buying her kids school supplies is a bad thing, then I'm guilty. So basically my son called me and said that Cassie would like to bury the hatchet this year and actually invited me to the birthday party. I asked if I could bring anything. He said it would be a big help if I stopped and got a Taco Bell party pack on the way over, since Cassie wants Taco Bell instead of a cake and they don't have one within 30 minutes of their house. I asked why Taco Bell, and he said that Cassie is back on her caveman diet, and Taco Bell is a treat, but not like a sugar implosion like a cake. I said I would think about it. He asked me to please not make an issue of this and please just get Taco Bell. I told him I just can't see depriving a party of a birthday cake. He said if I can't just bring Taco Bell, please let him know and he will handle it. The issue is, I'm disgusted with the way she feeds her family. The kids have zero fun when it comes to food, and they are what I would consider brainwashed. On the rare occasion Cassie lets me watch the kids, they will have one chocolate milk and aren't interested in kids' foods like cookies and fruit roll-ups. I feel like I would be giving into the nonsense if I bring Taco Bell and not a birthday cake. I make an amazing traditional chocolate cake, and I feel it would make the other guests not think Cassie is so odd. And it will quickly be overlooked and I get to make my statement in a quiet and dignified manner, and maybe even subtly nudge her in the direction of allowing her kids a normal childhood. Then that would be a good thing. Before I start baking, is this a wrong thing that I'm thinking of doing? Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. My God, what is the matter with you? You clearly have massive issues with your daughter-in-law, and so you can't even bury your pride and bring her what she asks on her birthday. Also, what she chooses to feed her kids is her business. Suck it up and bring the Taco Bell. And if it really matters to you, as if you can bring cake for others as well. If you really can't handle that, tell your son to take care of it and do nothing. You're the a-hole. Get the goddamn Taco Bell. She wants that and not a cake, and it's, Taco Bell, not arsenic. B. Your daughter-in-law is clearly 100% accurate in saying you interfere with her kids and family, as you've just described, deliberately trying to undermine how she feeds the kids by trying to convince them to eat as much sugar as possible. If you want any hope of a better relationship with the family, get some therapy to address your awful narcissistic behavior and start to remedy things by getting the goddamn Taco Bell. You would be the a-hole so much. Even just buying her kids school supplies is actually overstepping if she doesn't like it. Her kids are hers, not yours, and you don't get to decide what they bring to school, what their diets consist of, or anything else, and you don't get to decide what Cassie has at her own birthday party. If you want a cake at your birthday, then you make yourself one. But if she doesn't want one, you don't get to make that decision. And you should listen to your son and not make this a statement, and rather actually try to bury the hatchet like Cassie is trying to. Stop being so controlling and just be glad they haven't cut you off from your grandchildren. Also, if the kids don't want to eat junk food, why would you want them to?